I'm Christina, and we're the Geeks, and we're here today to talk about Smallville episode Dominion, which marks the return of Zod. And short recap: Clark, Tess informed Clark that Slade had returned from the Phantom Zone, and he was in a coma in the hospital. And no, they did not show Slade. They just mentioned that, so he knew that there was an issue with the Phantom Zone. So he went inside and he told Oliver not to follow him, but Oliver jumped in the last second, and they discovered that Zod had taken over the domain thanks to, I suppose, Darkseid, because Darkseid promised to be the lord of the Phantom Zone if, he made sure that Clark died. So he lured Clark in with the Slade getting out and made Clark and Oliver fight in this gladiator ring type thing. And Oliver, it looked like Zod had gotten to Oliver at one point. It's not clear to me, at least, if Oliver was following a plan, but he did end up stabbing Clark, and it looked like he was going to kill him, but you knew that wasn't going to happen. And Zod stepped in the last minute and said, I have to kill him. You prove yourself, but I'm going to kill him. And then, of course, Clark grabbed the crystal from Zod's neck, and him and Oliver were teleported back to Earth. And they were gone for only a couple hours, but really they were missing for 3 weeks. And Lois was worried, and because, while they were in there, Tess was going to destroy the portal by Clark's orders, and Lois basically took out a gun and said, "I'm doing anything for my baby, and I will kill you. I'll bust a cap in you if you even try it." So, thanks to Lois, we still have a Superman. And so, and Clark and Lois reunited and had a moment, and Oliver found out it was Omega symbol, and he's off to figure out a way to remove it and find a weapon that can supposedly kill Darkseid. And that was it.
Overall, I liked the episode. I think a lot of that had to do with Colin Blue, because the man, when he's on screen, he just is so charming and sexy and dominating and domineering, and he's just sitting in a chair smirking. I'm just like, my goodness. And the accent, oh my goodness, that accent, oh my goodness. I always said I wanted to marry an American, but my goodness, that accent. That accent is pretty darn nice. It really, really is.
Yeah. Him sitting in that chair with the skulls and the bones, and how relaxed and stuff he was, just watching with a cup of wine or whatever it was. It was kind of reminiscent of watching Ares, though I don't...
On Xena
Hercules. Though, in my heart, there's no actor that's ever kind of compared in
Kevin Smith. First of all, I have to address this right quick. Lois with the gun and everything. I know some people are going back. I can just hear the Lana fans going, "Oh, Lana would never do something like that." Blah 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 blah. Pretty sure she would.
What Lana? I don't know if anyone would say that, because clearly Lana's done a lot of things. It's just delusional.
Yeah. I for one, it was a terrible plan. I know Tess was just following Clark's orders, but Clark doesn't always have the best plans. That's why, even though Batman's part-time Justice League member, he still does all the plans.
Well, I don't know. I don't know why they wouldn't have a more open window for them to succeed. I don't think closing the gate was a terrible idea. I think he should have talked to Lois about it, but I don't think it was a terrible plan.
It's not a terrible
I think it was a necessary
plan. I mean, it's not like the Earth is completely safe. There's still stuff wrong. Darkseid's still moving. There's still things going on.
But at this point, they thought they said that they had blocked Darkseid and they defeated his minions. And so, when was the last time they had a Darkseid problem?
Okay, well, even if they thought Darkseid is completely gone and everything, he knows that he has to go back to Earth and have his destiny. So for him to be trapped in possibly be trapped in the Phantom Zone,
he didn't want to let the Phantoms get out. They were a big problem last time. I don't think it was a terrible plan.
I think it was a terrible plan to leave him in there. There wouldn't be any other harm coming to the planet because the Phantoms are the Phantom Zone.
It's not beyond Superman to think of to do something like that for the sake of humanity, to sacrifice himself.
I'm not saying it's not like him to do that. I'm just saying it was a bad plan to trap him in the Phantom Zone. They should have gave him more time. Hours?
They should have gave him more time. But I'm saying destroying the portal was not an unreasonable plan.
Destroying the portal with him inside.
Who else? Yes, there's a bunch of challenges and stuff. There are other League members. The Earth has survived other things before Clark has come along. I guess he's been in the future, yada, yada, yada. But maybe he figured that, I don't know, when you go to the future and you see everything work out, maybe you figured, I don't know, some even though he might have this plan, maybe there's still something he figures he can still get out of it. But who could really deal with those phantoms? I mean, remember that plant lady who busted a hole through Clark's chest? I mean, who else could take those phantoms besides Clark? It was important that the portal was closed.
It was very important, but I think
not a terrible plan.
No, I still think that's bad in closing it, him still being in there. Lois, she was completely right, and I'm glad she did what she did.
I'm glad she did what she did, but I still wouldn't say it was a terrible plan.
Well, then I guess we just disagree. Justin Hartley directed this episode. I liked it. There were some moments I kind of didn't like. I thought I was confused for a little bit at the end with the flashbacks, how they edited that. I was like, what? Wait, what's happening? What did happen? What? I was really confused that little flashback moment.
I didn't like all of the slow motion during the fight. The only two things that maybe should have been in slow motion was when Clark was, up and punching like that.
And when I liked when he kicked Oliver.
Getting stabbed right there. Yeah, when he kicked Oliver. And I was kind of hoping that, I know Oliver took some blows, but man, I kind of wanted to see Clark fight him and kind of beat him up some more. But
I didn't like it when I know some people maybe thought the blood hitting the screen was cool. I didn't like it because I was just thinking, what is this episode supposed to be like in 3D or something, or like?
Yeah, they should just make it quick because it's not like you couldn't tell that wasn't fake blood. Zod was like, "Oh, you can't trust Clark once they find out that you got the darkness. They're gonna freak out." And so Oliver at the end, he's like, "So what do you think we should do if one of us gets infected?" Red flag, Clark. Red flag, red flag, red flag. He's like,
did see it.
We'd have to put them away because we're heroes. And he's just like, oh, okay. I'm glad Zod mentioned something about him locking Slade up in the Phantom Zone.
Yeah, I was so glad when he did
I thought that was kind of crazy for Clark to do in the first place. I thought that was, out of character, and if they didn't address it, then that just wouldn't have been crazy. So I'm glad Zod said something.
Yeah.
A little bit more remorse for the situation maybe would have been better. I really, really, really enjoyed the fact that the Zod Phantom had come into the Zod clone body.
Yeah.
And because you would think, the real Zod's somewhere out there in the Phantom Zone. So I thought it was a pleasant detail, and that they remembered to do, that they took the effort and put it in there to make it extra special. I really liked Clark in this episode. He really stood on his own to me, especially when he was going back and forth with Zod and everything. I really enjoyed Clark in this episode.
Tess was like freaking out the whole entire episode. I like Cassidy Freeman, period. And so I was wondering, I was like, why is she freaking out this much? And then they showed the clock thing, and that was interesting.
I knew because I saw the clip of the episode, but I don't know. She was really, really freaked out about it, and she's really got to have some respect and look up really high to Clark, because usually when she's in a bad spot, she might be freaking out, but she doesn't want you to know that she's freaking out. That was probably the most freaked out I've really ever seen her. Mm-hmm. Besides, Clark Luthor going to drop her from the top of the building, or Clark on the mystical stuff, choking her, about to light her on fire.
What did you think about when Lois was like a hero's wife, that speech she gave?
I thought that was good. I was when she's like, you know, I was waiting to hear her response, and I thought it was a good response, and I thought it was a response that Lois would especially have, especially with her being a general's daughter, and it just goes to show you that Lois is the right person for the job. And so, you know, Lois, sometimes she does have to wait around for Clark, or aka Superman, to come back from only God knows where, after fighting who knows what. And is he alive? Is he dead? She might not know sometimes. Mm-hmm. But she's the type of person who can wait around. So I thought it was really interesting and great that they did show that side of their marriage, because even though they're not married yet, but because it happens. And you have to be a special kind of person to wait for all that time. But
I really like that she did wait, and because we both know that each one of them would wait, and that's something actually Superman actually waited 1,000 years. He was trapped in another world with Wonder Woman for 1,000 years. Didn't know he'd ever get back. They both thought they were going to die, you know. And all he did, I think they shared a kiss, and that was it. But he did not cheat on Lois.
Yeah, he was.
For 1,000 years. Now, a man being trapped with Wonder Woman for 1,000 years, thinking you never get back. He even at times said he sometimes he even possibly was starting to forget what Lois looked like. Mm-hmm. But just the fact that, you know, he was still alive, he was still going to be true to her. And I just thought that was one of the most romantic, you know, things I've ever read. I kind of laughed. I was like, once again, they got to show Lois being kind of sexy or whatever. But then I was like, man, her legs look really great. I need to get my legs like hers. And so, and then they had that nice moment when they were talking and stuff. You know, at first I was like, why are they bringing the white snake pillow? And, you know, like, why is that a big deal? But I actually ended up liking it, and I thought it was a cute little tie-in, you know, and stuff. So. Plus, when she made a mixtape, didn't she have, like, white snake on there and stuff? So, you know, their little thing. And I like their apartment, too. I like how she decorated it. Completely reminded me of the Lois and Clark Adventures of Superman. Her apartment. Oliver getting the bow to defeat Darkseid. I do not want Oliver Queen being the one to take down Darkseid. Matter of fact, if he does, I'd be very upset. Anyways, but tell us what you think about the episode. Also visit thegorgeousgeeks.com to look at some of our swag that you can purchase. Anyways, I'm Katrina.
I'm Christina.
And we're the Gorgeous Geeks.